On June 26th, 1284, something happened in a small German town that was so disturbing the residents stopped celebrating that date entirely. No church bells rang, no music was played, and for generations, parents warned their children never to forget it. This is not a fairy tale. This is a historical record of 130 missing children and one of the oldest mass disappearance cases in European history. This is the true story behind the Pied Piper of Hamelin, and you're watching A Veil of Crime. The town of Hamelin kept careful records in the Middle Ages, and among them is a chilling entry. In the year 1284, on the day of Saints John and Paul, 130 children born in Hamelin were led away by a piper dressed in colorful clothing and were lost at a place near Coppin Hills. There is no mention of rats in the earliest version, no curse, no punishment story, just children and disappearance. For centuries, the town treated this as historical fact. A stained glass window was commissioned in the 1300s depicting the event. Later buildings in Hamelin avoided music and dancing on June 26th out of respect. That alone tells us something important. The people of Hamelin believe this truly happened. The rat story doesn't appear until hundreds of years later. By the time the Grimm brothers recorded the tale in the 1800s, the story had evolved into a moral lesson. The town cheats a stranger. The stranger takes revenge. The children are taken as punishment. But historians agree this version is symbolic, not historical. The earlier records don't portray the piper as magical, just charismatic, well-dressed, and persuasive enough that children followed him willingly. That raises a darker question. Why would 130 children follow a stranger out of town? There are several serious theories, none of which are fairy tales. Theory 1 is mass migration. During the 1200s, parts of Eastern Europe were being settled. Recruiters were sent west to convince young people to relocate. Some historians believe the piper was a recruiter who led Hamelin's children away to new colonies. The children weren't murdered. They were never meant to return. To the parents left behind, it would have felt like a disappearance. Theory 2 is plague or disaster. Another theory suggests that the children died in a sudden event, disease, landslide, or an accident, and the piper became a symbolic figure to explain collective trauma. However, this theory struggles with one issue. There are no burial records for 130 children. Theory 3, exploitation or trafficking. The darkest theory, and one increasingly discussed, is that the piper exploited the children. In medieval Europe, children were valuable labor. It's possible the piper was a trafficker or cult-like figure who lured them away with promises of work, food, or safety. The music may not have been literal. It may have been words, hope, or authority. The Pied Piper endured because it served a purpose. It warned parents, it warned children, and it preserved a memory too painful to forget. By turning the event into a fairy tale, the town could speak about the unspeakable. And that's the veil, because sometimes folklore isn't fantasy, it's history trying to survive. If you want more stories where legends hide real crime and where history leaves behind questions instead of answers, watch the rest of the Grimm fairy tale series only on A Veil of Crime.